Welcome to another explainer. Today we're diving into Our Lady of Guadalupe Explained. We're going to see how this incredible tilma, or cloak, is way more than just some historical artifact. It is a masterclass in visual storytelling that literally changed the course of history for an entire continent. If you've ever wondered how one singular image could speak perfectly to two completely different cultures at the exact same time, well, you are in the right place. Okay, let's ground everything today in this really powerful quote. Am I not here, I who am your mother? These are the actual words spoken by the Blessed Virgin Mary to Saint Juan Diego. I mean, just imagine hearing that directly. In a time of massive cultural upheaval and uncertainty, those words offer this overwhelming sense of maternal protection and care. It makes this whole story so incredibly personal right from the start. And the legacy of that message? Well, look at the number 500. For nearly 500 years, this miraculous image has survived. Which, by the way, is a total miracle in itself, considering the cloak is made of cactus fiber that naturally should have completely disintegrated in like 20 years tops. Yet here it is, inspiring literally millions of Christians and drawing pilgrims from every single corner of the globe. The staying power of the patroness of the Americas is just undeniable. Let's quickly trace the timeline of the events of 1531. In December of that year, the Virgin Mary appeared to Juan Diego on Tepeyac Hill, right near modern-day Mexico City, and asked for a church to be built. Fast forward just a few days to December 12th, Juan Diego opens his tilma to show the local bishop a miraculous sign. A bundle of roses falls out, and boom, the amazing image we're analyzing today is miraculously imprinted right there on the fabric. So what we have here is a visual proclamation of the gospel bridging two worlds. It's not just a painting. Today, we're basically going to play art detective. Every single color, every garment, every tiny gesture was perfectly designed to communicate massive truths to two totally different audiences at the exact same time, traditional Christians and 16th century indigenous Mexicans. It perfectly translated sacred scripture into a visual language both sides instantly understood. Let's start decoding the garments because the colors are basically a deeply intentional code. Take the blue-green mantle. To the indigenous people, that specific shade meant one thing: absolute royalty. So it instantly establishes her as a queen, but it also directs all that honor right toward the divine kingship of her son. And then you have the pink tunic underneath, covered in floral designs. That symbolizes earthly life and humanity, reminding everyone that God is the ultimate creator of all life and beauty. So right away, just the clothes alone are telling a story of heaven and earth coming together. The background is doing just as much heavy lifting. Notice the brilliant sunbeams she's standing in front of. This is a brilliant, dual-meaning masterpiece. See, the indigenous culture worshipped the sun as a massive, ancient deity. But here, by standing in front of the rays, the image is saying she is actually greater than their sun god, effectively eclipsing it. But from a scriptural point of view, she's radiant because she's bearing Jesus, the true light of the world. It perfectly communicated a theological shift to the indigenous people while staying deeply rooted in Christian truth. Now check out this specific detail, the Nahui Olin. It's a tiny, distinctive four-petaled flower positioned directly over Mary's womb. Honestly, you could easily miss it if you weren't looking for it, but to the indigenous mind, this wasn't just some random floral pattern. This symbol represented the absolute center of the universe. By placing it right over her womb, it is powerfully, unmistakably highlighting the presence of Jesus within her, showing him as the center of all creation and history. If we look down beneath her feet, we find another massive symbol, the crescent moon. For traditional Christians, this is a direct scriptural connection to the book of Revelation, chapter 12, verse 1, the woman with the moon under her feet, symbolizing God's ultimate victory over darkness. And in terms of salvation history, it perfectly anchors Mary's vital role as the mother of the Messiah. It's this beautiful symbol of triumph and purity in God's plan. All these elements really build into these incredible signs of humility and love. Take these three earthly details. First, you've got the black ribbon tied around her waist. In that specific indigenous culture, this was the universally recognized sign of pregnancy, again, boldly declaring she's carrying the Son of God. Second, her folded hands. She's in a posture of prayer. She's not a goddess demanding worship, she's a humble servant pointing us completely toward Jesus. And third, just look at her compassionate gaze. She's looking gently downward, expressing this deep maternal love that invites every single one of us to just trust in God's mercy. And it all perfectly expresses this harmony of heaven and earth. The stars scattered across her mantle remind us that she is the Queen of Heaven. But then you have the angel right there at the very bottom supporting her. And if you look closely at the angel's garments, they perfectly combine the exact same earthly and heavenly colors found in Mary's own clothing. It completely unites both realms, showing her mission truly comes from God. The aftermath of all this was just staggering. Millions. Within just a few years of the apparitions and the tilma appearing, literally millions of indigenous people embraced Christianity. And the amazing thing is, it wasn't forced on them. It was communicated in a visual language they deeply respected and instantly got. It is still considered one of the absolute greatest moments of evangelization in the history of the Americas. So what this teaches us today, what is the real takeaway here for all of us right now? Well, it teaches us that Jesus is the absolute center of devotion. Mary is always pointing right to him. It shows us she's the loving mother of all of us, regardless of our background. It proves the gospel is meant for every single culture, and that God beautifully meets people exactly where they are. And maybe most importantly, it's a powerful reminder that every human life possesses immeasurable dignity, because Christ came for all of us.
As we wrap up, I want to leave you with this question to kind of chew on. How does a single image perfectly bridge entirely different cultures and continue to prove that God's love knows no boundaries? Whether it's the royal colors, that tiny four-petaled flower, or a mother's gentle gaze, the tilma of St. Juan Diego is a miraculous testament that Christ truly came for every nation and every heart. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I'll catch you in the next one.